We're back to talk Survivor 43. Got Fanguy, got Mike, got Q as a special guest. Aspen isn't here, sadly. Are you a token?
I'll do my best.
Sorry. But I was hoping Aspen would be here, though, because I want these two to spar with each other, because I think Q's going to be on Aspen's neck on Little Brother for the foreseeable future. But Fanguy, Mike, Q, how did you enjoy this episode of Survivor?
It was all right. It was pretty good. 90-minute format, so we've all asked for it. They gave it to us because of Amazing Race, but we'll take, I guess, what scraps we can get. My ranking has definitely changed a lot this week, Despite having 90 minutes, they couldn't deign to show us the Blue Tribe at all. So we still got some uneven editing. So that's our favorite.
How do you manage that? You have extra minutes and you still can't edit in a tribe well, really? I don't understand it at all.
I'm with you guys.
Yeah,
I wish I could have saw more from that tribe for sure. It's so hard to rank this early in the season. Like, I just feel like it's so hard to get it. It's like, for me, all my rankings are just from my gut. Like, it's just like, who do I envision at the end? Like, I can't. It's just hard to get like enough tangible things to go, oh, this person's doing a whole lot right, this person's doing a whole lot wrong. So for me, it's still early, but I have a good gut feel about some of these players, and I have like a not so good feeling about others.
Q.
I don't have any rankings prepared from the first episode, but I will say that there are some players that I plan to go in on from my brief stint here on the podcast. Overall, I would say that the tribal this episode was quite enraging to watch. So,
well, we're gonna go ahead and start the rankings then, because I know the person that Q is on this podcast for to talk about, because you don't like her. Here's our bottom four this week. It is Noelle, Gio, Owen, and Janine. We'll get to the rest of the bottom six, but these are the four people nobody ranked. Well, yeah, nobody ranked them. Who wants to start? Do you want to start on Noelle, Q?
Do it. Basically, I think that Noelle had way too much to say about the performance of her tribe, considering the fact that she volunteered to sit it out. And then just going so hard to get NECA out in terms of strengthening the team. And it's just like, girl, you literally volunteered to sit out. And then, like, I don't know. I think that Noelle is too mouthy, and I think that she honestly should have been the target for this week for very obvious reasons, and I think that it would have been smarter to just go ahead and get rid of her now, because I don't want to sit next to her in a final two. That's the nice way of putting it.
Fanguy, this is your girl.
I ranked her dead last, bro. I ranked her dead last. So, no homerism here, because, like, I'd still vote for her at the end, though. Hence me wasting my first pick, like, if she gets there. But I just don't think she has any chance. Like, she just doesn't have a good attitude. She's not as competitive as I thought she would be. Like, you're like, I get, you have a disability, but, like, you've overcome it to be an Olympian. So, like, you should want to compete. You should want to be in there every time. You should not be the one sitting out. And if you are going to sit out, you have no right to criticize someone's performance, period. So I just don't think she's going to last long. I think she's going to be the next easy vote out on her tribe if they go.
Yeah, I was expecting more from Noelle preseason as well. I do think at one point she says, yeah, if I'd have known it was a water challenge, I would have brought a different leg. Like, are we not reasonably accommodating the disability to allow her to bring all the legs or whatever legs she needs? Like, I feel like that falls under reasonable accommodation in my humble opinion, but I didn't rank her. I think on paper she should be the next one out of the red tribe. What I wanted clarification on is if she didn't give up her beads and she got voted out, would that him having the 5 beads give him the power he needed? Or like once someone gets voted out, can that tribe no longer get an idol? I don't get that. I didn't really understand what would happen if he didn't get someone's beads and then they went home. Because it made it sound like you needed all of them and you can't steal them from the bag, but once they're out of the game, they can't really give it to you willingly unless it's before they walk out of
that's
tribal.
true.
So I don't know. Weird twist from that aspect. I laughed when she's like, "I got my pretty beads," but like that's it. That's really all she brought to the episode.
Yeah, I didn't understand the twist either. I was wondering if like maybe he just has to do that the entire season until he gets them all. Like, I don't know, or until the merge. This makes me worry that we're not going to have a tribe swap either. If this is the beware advantage,
I think the no tribe swap is something they're keeping. I don't have like an official source on that. I feel like that's what they're doing this season because they were very explicit in axing. I believe it was both Do and Die and the Hourglass twist. They're like, "Don't worry, guys, those aren't coming back," but they didn't say like, "Don't worry, guys, no more beware, no tribe swaps." So I have a feeling they're probably keeping those.
It's Mercury Retrograde. This is why astrology is real, Mike. It's Mercury Retrograde.
Yes, your computer having issues is
That's what Mercury Retrograde is?
Mercury's fault.
Anyway, I guess we'll try and continue. Any thoughts on Geo?
I think he's doing all right on the Blue Tribe. He's just like Sob Stories his edit. Like that's his edit. Like I want to see him actually building like more than one bond with Carla. Like that's like what I want to see. I don't mind hearing people's backstory, but we don't need 5 minutes of it. We don't need it being actual like flashbacks. That's my feeling on it. But that's the way of the show now. So that's what we saw from Geo.
Yeah, this is something I want to talk about. Like, we got these extra 90 minutes, but it felt like it was just more sob stories, right?
And also, what am I just knowing this because of preseason press, or didn't we hear most of this in the first episode when he was talking to Carla?
Yes.
So let's not retread sob stories. Like, let's just at least limit it there and draw the line there. Is how I feel about it.
I honestly have no thoughts on him. But go ahead.
I agree. We didn't see. He doesn't strike me as a really dangerous player. Like some players, you can just tell. Like you could see that like eye of the tiger or whatever you want to call it. Like you could just tell this is a dangerous player. You know, and I don't get that from him.
Yeah, me either. Do you have any thoughts on Geo?
I will say that this budding relationship between I think it's Geo and Ryan is like really adorable to watch, like the big brother, little brother friendship. I think Ryan was like, "Oh, I don't have a gay brother, so happy to have you there." And I was just like, "Oh, okay." But I do think that it is actually maybe not good for Geo's game because I think Carla's starting to get a little weirded out by it, and I think it's making her uncomfortable. So looks like Geo might be on a few people's lists if he keeps up this close relationship with Ryan. And I agree, Mike, with the sob story. The only new detail they added was just that his family's from Ecuador and something about like almond trees, but same sob story. We don't really need to hear it anymore.
I forgot that about the bond with Ryan, to be honest with you. But like, here's what people love to do on Survivor. Oh, really strong player has a really close ally. Let's vote out the weaker of the two. They're going to be like, oh, let's hurt Ryan by getting rid of Geo. Like, instead of just voting out Ryan if that's what you want to do. Because that's what people do on the show. And it's always bothered me. And I feel like remembering this now, like, yeah, Geo could fall victim to that.
You're right, Mike. That's not logical. Why do you think that happens so often instead of just going against the bigger target?
Fear or wanting to appease like a majority or thinking your position in the game is like better than it is. You're like, oh, I'm in control right now. I'll always be in control. And I want to keep as many people happy as possible. Like that's, like if Carla feels like she's in the middle, she's going to be like, oh, I'll always be in the middle in this tribe. So let me just keep Ryan so I can win challenges or something. But like he's going to get upset at you and then you're not going to have Ryan anymore.
Owen is another one who I think is just struggling socially, although I guess that tribe's trying to do this well, somebody on that tribe is trying to do a guy's thing, typical. But any other thoughts on Owen this week?
He was funny. I liked him talking, him saying like, "I'm trying to be nice," and then like going on it and like in the jungle, like talking to himself about how pissed off and everything he is. I felt that. I've done that plenty of times. So, yeah, I get it.
I like Owen. I just think he's the next one out on that tribe. I think that's just where the votes are going to go next for them.
It kind of does feel that way. Although Janine, who is another bottom player, also it's kind of a toss-up, unfortunately. We talked about last week how the white people in that tribe seem to want to work together. Q, do you agree?
I do agree. Yeah. They love to sacrifice themselves a nice black woman.
Do you have any thoughts on Owen or Janine?
I would like to see Owen. I would like to see the guys thing happen because I really want to see Ellie go. And I hope that she's pissing enough people off. Sorry, this is kind of getting to Ellie, but I hope that she pisses enough people off to motivate people to want to work with Owen so that they can get her out. And then as far as Janine, I really thought that the bag searching thing, like if you're gonna search in someone's bag, just lean into it. She did that, right? She's the one with the fucked up chin. If you're gonna search in someone's bag, just lean into it. Like, don't give us the whole like preface of like, outside I'm a really great person. Just say you're trash. You wanted to know more about his idol, and you're gonna look through his shit.
Yeah. I'll say this because on Twitter, people were saying that they were mad. Oh, the guys in this alliance want to work together. The guys in this alliance want to do the typical guys thing. But just last week, the women were talking about doing a women's thing. So I can't get behind those comments on Twitter on this one because like the women were talking about it first. So maybe they put this idea into the tribe in the first place. And you two might know a little something about a women's alliance, so you might know how that goes.
It's funny because like that's exactly it. Sometimes you just get like a vibe. You just get a feel for like the situation as a whole. Because like basically even Meg, like I even said that on one of the episodes. I was like started naming off the people and then like watching it back, I was like, I didn't name a single girl till maybe like Aspen at the very end because she was getting all crazy. And I was like, holy shit, the people I didn't name were all girls, like, and at the time you like it's just like, so sometimes you just get a feel and maybe they just got that feel about it.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to the other two in our bottom six. The only person that ranked them both is Fan Guy, so maybe Fan Guy has some insight as to why he ranked them. It is Cassidy and Dwight. We might know why Cassidy, Fan Guy. We talked a little bit about it last week, but she might believe in astrology. She might be going through Mercury Retrograde right now.
So, man. So I can't even say that's not true because I don't know. Like, I mean, like whenever I think about, I just don't feel like Cassidy's in danger. Like she just seems to be like there, and yeah, I like me some Austin girls. So what can I say? Yeah, I rank Cassidy. I did. I don't think she's in.
And you ranked her high, though. You ranked her high.
I ranked her pretty high. I mean, what do we have to go by? Damn it. I just, hey, all right, Cassidy,
I have a feeling Cassidy would be playing the fuck out of you in this game if you were on this season.
Sometimes that's okay, my guy. Sometimes I'm okay with that, my guy.
I feel you.
I don't. Cassidy literally showed us nothing. I don't have as much of a problem with you ranking Cassidy as I do with you ranking Dwight. I don't know. Does anyone else have anything to say about Cassidy? I got nothing.
No, me either.
So I have more of a problem with you ranking Dwight. Yes, he's on my team. Yes, I know this, but like, bro, rough week for Dwight. Rough two weeks, to be honest. But this was just the after effect of him losing his vote when he did.
Okay, so I know why I ranked Dwight. So Dwight, for me, I think his connection with Jesse, despite this vote going the way it did, where look, they're a duo, but they each had their own separate priorities there. So you know what? One of them had their vote. but I do feel good about that duo. And I think that duo is now the strongest force on that tribe. I actually think they're stronger than even Cody and NECA. So I think that's the controlling interest of the red team right now. So for that reason, and I feel like he's gonna recover from this with Jesse. He's gonna do the right thing, and I think he's fine. I think he's
You don't
fine.
think this week might have chipped away at that potential duo though, because they voted different?
It could make him stronger depending on what happens. Because sometimes if you have a minor thing that in the grand scheme of both their games, it's still too early for either to really matter. There's still enough clay to sculpt, the game they want to play despite who just went. So no, I mean, I think it's early enough where if they can overcome this initial hurdle, I think it could make their group even stronger.
I don't know, man. I find it like I would hope Noel would not work with those two over like Cody and NECA. Like I like I'm gonna say it. I like Cody and NECA, and I know I was the biggest Cody hater preseason, but like we literally see Dwight like shading Jesse in the preview for next week. And yes, previews are not actually always indicative of what happens, but man, I'd be upset.
Usually the opposite thing.
Right.
You might say that they're the opposite, which also played into my thought process on this. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Do you have any thoughts on Dwight?
I think I slightly disagree with Fanguy. I mean, but I'm also going off of the preview that the editors, set it to play, which is that this is going to cause some sort of fracture between Dwight and Jesse. But I also think that Justine did a nice job of laying out the duos within the tribe of six. And I think that if Noelle is smart, recognizing that she's now at the bottom, maybe she will play into that obvious betrayal between Dwight and Jesse, and maybe she'll even try and solidify a final two with Dwight or something. Or I don't know. I think that them voting on opposite sides, even though Dwight didn't get a vote, I think that kind of reveals a fracture within their duo that is now obvious to NECA, Cody, and Noelle. And I think someone has to be smart enough to play into that. So
You would
Yeah.
hope.
Like Dwight and Noelle can link up. Like it's pretty clear Dwight wanted to work with Noelle and
yes.
Justine, rest in peace. But like if Jesse flips to work with Dwight and now Noelle, he's just overplaying, which he definitely seems like that kind of player. But like if he just flips now to work with those two, he's on the bottom of that. They're never gonna fully trust him, and he's overplaying. And like, do I think, knowing Modern Survivor, that that's what he's gonna do and that's what's gonna happen? Yeah, probably. But I'm just going by like realistically, he should just say, "Sorry, Dwight, you're better hope we don't lose two challenges." So yeah, I don't know, man.
I'll say this, to stick up for Fanguy ranking him a little bit. I almost ranked him for this case because, I mean, he came into this without having a vote. And that has to speak to his social game for something that he wasn't even a possible target, like an easy vote out because he doesn't have a vote. I feel like he might have a better social game than we might give him credit for here.
Dwight is the example of why I don't pick young people, because like it felt like he really tried to control Jesse's vote this episode.
Yeah.
He couldn't close the deal, which I think actually speaks to his social game, but not in a good way.
I guess you're right about that.
Like if you're supposed to be a do or die and like truly going all in on a do or die, you should be on the same page. And they were not on the same page. And if you can't influence your partner, you can either get on board with what they're doing or they're really not your do or die. Like that's really what it comes down to. If you're not willing to compromise with them, then you guys aren't on the same page, because Dwight was not willing to compromise and just say, you know what, Jesse, I lost my vote. I'm going to trust your judgment on this one. Let's move forward. Like that's what he needed to do. And he didn't do that. And now there's negative ill will, like on both sides. So that's the problem.
I can't argue against that. You're correct. It's also a segue to our number 10, the other young player, Sammy. Thoughts?
This is right about where I ranked Patrick Mahomes. But he he start trying
Maybe
to
more like
he,
his younger brother. I forget his
he tried
name.
to get a guys thing going. I could see that potentially blowing up in his face. But he's still like, I don't think they vote him out until a lot closer to merge, because this tribe's pretty dead in the water without him. On paper, like he seems like he's in a good spot with his tribe. I still can't really, I don't really like him that much, but he seems like he's in a good spot in his tribe. So I ranked him at about 9.
I had him at 9 as well. I like him more than I thought I would. I mean, I keep saying it about him, but I do. He's not as obnoxious as he came off like preseason with a lot of his stuff. So, I don't dislike the kid, but age always goes against you in a lot of these games. He's keeping his a little under wraps. He's trying to seem a little older, which he was smart to do that. But if he lets that slip to anybody and his real age comes out, it's a wrap. But
I can't remember what he said because I'm between big brother and little brother. I'm exhausted. But he was saying something that I felt like was kind of a clue about his age. So he might start giving that away if he continues to have a maturity problem, maybe. But what are your thoughts on Sammy?
I don't mind Sammy. I think that aging himself up to like what, 22? That was kind of strange. Like I don't know that the 4-year difference really increases the age that much, but I think that there are bigger fish to fry on this team, or rather, there are people in worse positions than Sammy. So I think he'll be fine.
I think I still like him too. I still feel like he has a better shot than any of us thought going into this, and I think Boo Boo. If anybody from Boo Boo's little team is going to win again, it's going to be Sammy and not Gio, as I was fearing in the draft when people didn't pick him. But here we are again. Boo Boo has 2 players left, and me and Mike are missing 1 each. It's deja vu.
Hey, if we get a third sob story flashback from Gio, it's probably a winner at it. Just saying. Like they're just they're gonna reiterate every single episode this gentleman's tragic past, and it is a tragic thing that happened. But like, let's not hear about it again. Let's move on to what's social dynamics of the game from Gio.
Touche on that.
I think Gio's more likely to win than Sammy. I think Gio's more likely to get voted out first. But like, if either of those two were actually winning, which I think are both like sub 1%, I would give it to Gio.
So you're saying Boo Boo doesn't have a shot?
There's always a shot. Like
you're doing that to your friend Boo Boo, who supports you in every game you play.
Everybody knows that she did not get the cream of the crop this time around, for sure.
I guess. Any other thoughts on Sammy, though? All right, then we move on to number 9, which is Gabler.
He's the one who's gonna flip to the girls in that tribe. He's the one who's gonna go with the girls, and they're probably gonna get out Owen. So I think Gabler, this is a fair spot for him. He's not. I think he's in a better spot than Owen on the yellow tribe. But that's not saying a lot necessarily, and he might be in a better spot than Sammy too, actually. So I think it's a fair ranking.
My one concern with Gabler is the preview, because it showed him wanting to be like he has the upper hand, which makes me think it doesn't, because we know the edit for that.
I put him at 6 because he has an idol. That's pretty much the only reason. If his idol had expired, like some people believed it had, or if he didn't have it in the first place, I don't think I would have ranked him. It's day 3 and the dude's gassed. Like he said, yeah, I needed to lay down. And I'm like, reasonable. For a few hours, I'm like, I don't know if you've got what it takes, the stamina to last for this whole game. Like, I know I don't, but I'm also not on Survivor. Like I would be like, yeah, I need to lay down for a few hours too. But like, yeah, he's the oldest dude out there, but like you're clearly showing it, and we are not far in this game because it is a marathon, not a sprint, and he is looking rough. So I said, wouldn't have ranked him if he didn't have an idol. He's literally only ranked because he has an idol. That is only good.
Another big question mark why they voted out Mariah as the weakest link. If Gabler's like this already, it's a little questionable.
People need to stop being so afraid to flush idols. Like people just flush the idol. Like seriously, just do it. Just throw out 4 votes on him and throw a prayer up that it's not you.
But he's
Show
playing
yourself
his shot in the dark. What are
I'll
you
take a
doing,
1 in 6
dude?
chance every time.
Yeah,
Like I don't care. I will do
doing?
that every time. Like I don't like you can tell me that like they're like blah 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 is voting for you. I'm like 1 in 6. I'll take that. Like I'll take that every time.
What are your thoughts on Gabler?
I don't have much to add on Gabler, honestly. I do think that he'll probably end up going with the girls, but again, I don't think that that's his safest route. I feel like this all guys alliance is actually really smart because what's her name? Ellie and Janine. I mean, they seem to have it out for him. Like Ellie made a really passive aggressive comment when he did the sword fishing thing, and I don't know. There seems to be some tension between the girls, and
But Allie and Gabler have that little Utah-Idaho connection.
he's just getting played by Ellie though, with the metal music and her dead sister. It's too much.
Yeah. Then we shall move on to Lindsay at number 8. Not a lot to say, but
Way too low. What are y'all talking about? This lady has good game written all over her. She has whenever I was talking about the eye of the tiger, how I didn't see it in Geo, I see it in Lindsay. Lindsay will be in the final 5.
Okay, cool thing. Can you tell me something she did this episode?
touche.
What do we have to go on?
I guess just episode 1 in her edit.
I'm going on the eye of the tiger, and she's got it.
You see the look in her eyes, is what you're saying?
Yep, she's there to win. They all think they're there to win, but some people are really there to win. And she's one of those people that like she's got it.
Is it so she has the look in her eyes that Jesse doesn't have from the gang thing we talked about last week?
She has more of that look than he does. Yes.
Interesting.
If we saw one confessional from Lindsay this episode about anything, I would have ranked her probably like 3 or 4 spots higher. Like I really like edit. But like episode 1, like they're showing an older lady talking a lot about the game. What? No way. But like then she just disappeared again. So but then again they like had Erica disappear for like 3 or 4 episodes, and she was also on a blue tribe, so like that kept winning. So maybe I'm not discounting her at all, but I'm also not ranking her much higher than I did.
I don't think she's gonna win, but I think she goes really deep in the game.
I kind of think so too. And also, though, with this edit, we see, I mean, a survivor should be no surprise, but I felt like a lot of this episode was from the men's perspective, even though when a woman went home again, and even though I felt like NECA had a lot of good input when we saw her playing the game, but not so much in confessionals. So it's just typical survivor. Do you have any thoughts on Lindsay?
I agree with what Fan Guy's saying. I think that she's going to make it quite far in the game, and I think that she would have the resume to win, but I think that they will be smart enough to cut her before she sits at the end with someone.
Do you think she has that look in her eyes, though?
Oh, she does. Yeah, she does. I mean, the first episode for her was great.
It was.
And she was already trying to assemble an alliance that I think is, somewhat reliable. So
More reliable than the other women's alliance on the Yellow Tribe was supposed to be, though?
yes, that I do think.
We'll see. Any other thoughts on Lindsay? We don't have a lot to go on in this episode, only her first episode. Take that as a no. We move on to Ryan at number 7.
All right, that's my guy. I'll say something. Ryan. I mean, I actually ranked him a little lower than this, but I had him ranked. So I think his strength is becoming a literal double-edged sword for him now, because his tribe does need it for challenges and stuff, but there's certain kind of tribes who don't give a, who don't care about that at a certain point. And at that point, his challenge ability is going to become a liability rather than a, something that they're looking to keep. So I actually think it's a coin flip between him and Geo for who goes next on that tribe. I do think that the girls are going to stay tight, which is why I had Lindsay ranked way higher too, because I just think all the blue girls are going to stay tight. And that doesn't bode well for Ryan. But I like Ryan. I like everything about him.
I was feeling the same way about his target possibly growing sooner rather than later. But Mike, I think you had him high, didn't you?
I had him really high. I actually ranked Ryan second, I think. Yeah. I don't know why. but I just have this feeling. Maybe it's the look in his eyes.
Seems to
But
be the
like,
trend.
I don't think this tribe's gonna vote him out. I think his end will come in the merge, if or when it comes. But I don't think this tribe is going to vote him out. Don't ask me why. I think Gio's going to bite the sword of this duo, if anyone. But at the same time, I'm not even sure someone from that duo will go. When your tribe sits around for, let's just say 6 days, it's probably not 6 days because Survivor shortened season. But when you sit around for 6 days and you don't vote anyone out, paranoia is going to run rampant. They're all going to be looking like dazed in the next 24 hours, making plan after plan after plan, and I just don't think it's going to fall on Ryan. He just, of anyone in the blue tribe, for some reason he screams winner to me. Oh, I could see someone else in the tribe winning, and it's not Lindsay, but I think Ryan 2 is probably a little high, but he's just a comp beast, and I just respect it at a certain point.
He does kind of seem, to your point, Mike, like this person that might be the least paranoid too. I can see that.
Yeah.
He seems
And
grounded.
I think that's part of it. Is like in a game like this, that's more important than anything else. I think is you just like a staying grounded and like in remaining sane is like really important.
And that was also something like Marianne had going for her last season was he's genuinely enjoying the experience of being there. And the people who are doing that are giving off a certain vibe because you can tell they're legitimately just happy to be there. You could see it in his little interactions with Gio and stuff. Ryan's just happy. He's having a good time out there.
Yeah.
And that stuff's contagious, man. You know, it is a good energy to have out there.
Any thoughts on Ryan?
I really like Ryan. I will go as far as to say is I think that the winner of this overall game is on the blue tribe. I don't know who, but I think that one of them will end up winning. And I hope it's Ryan. I'm with Fan Guy. He's my guy. He's just so likable. I really like his backstory of the cerebral palsy and overcoming that. Great energy. I think he is super grounded. And this is probably going to be a really weird connection, but just seeing how he approached the strength challenge where he said, let's make an X to find the thing. Not that this necessarily translates to his social game, but I feel like he's just going to have a really good intuition for when it is him. And I think that he'll be able to somehow get out of that I think we'll see his social game come into play. I think he's got good intuition for this game. I can't describe it, and I know that the strength challenge probably doesn't connect to that, but
I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I really like Ryan. And I do agree with Mike's analysis that I think that out of that duo, Gio is probably going to be the one that gets the X because
even with all those sub stories.
Yes. I mean, again, this could be a winner's edit, so I guess we'll see. But I think Gio will bite the bullet on that just because I don't know how much Ryan contributes around camp because we haven't seen that much of an edit, but I feel like Ryan probably contributes way more. He has the strength component, and he's also just very likable. So I think it'll be Gio out of the duo. But I also think it could be Carla. But we can wait till she...
And hey, if Gio goes in episode 3, they need to make sure they get that sob story in there so that the gay community feels represented and heard. Like, come on, CBS, they need to make sure that they get that out there. Like Jeannie, like 2 seasons ago, where she had to get her story about being gay out at some point before they just buried her in the edit and she did nothing and got voted out. So like they had to get it out there for Gio. So sorry, boo.
All right, we will move on to NECA, who went up a little. She got a good episode for sure. Although being a target, but
Viola Davis.
See, I didn't think she had a good episode. Well, I mean, I think she did because she didn't leave. So I think she had like a good episode in terms of like she didn't get voted out despite, her name being thrown out a ton. But for me, her overall stock actually went down on this episode just because I think there are certain things that once people say them about you in a game, it's hard to shake it. And so like if she's viewed as like a poor at competitions person, to the people that matters to, it's always gonna be an X against her, even if even if she disproves that in future competitions, because people are just stuck in their initial impressions of people. So for me, I think she's actually maybe in danger on that tribe if Noelle ends up pulling in Jesse but I think Noelle's the next one to go on that tribe. So I think I think she's good for a while. I think this is a fair spot to rank her. I would have had her a little lower, but I think it's okay.
I mean, I will say there was actually traction to her being bad at that competition, because she was bad at that competition. But like, I think the part you were annoyed with Noelle is she set out the competition, so her being the most vocal, annoying.
I feel like being bad at competitions is not always a bad thing, and I ranked NECA higher than this because if Jesse isn't an overplaying idiot, NECA should be pretty solidly set to make the merge. So should Jesse, so should Cody. Like, I ranked them all pretty high because they seem like a really good 3, and I think that I have a really good shot at making the merge. And like, my problem is like literally I could definitely see Jesse being the overplaying type and being like, oh man, maybe Cody's head's more in this game than I thought it was. Maybe his IQ is actually higher than 50. I need to vote out NECA to weaken him instead of
I could see it.
voting him out, because that's what we do. I feel like I literally feel like that's what's going to happen, and I hope it doesn't. I think NECA should be higher than 6. I know Ellie's on my team, but I don't know why Ellie's higher than NECA. If we're looking at like who's going to win the game, has a good shot at winning the game. I think if NECA makes the merge, she's a real threat to win the game. I think her biggest pitfalls are going to come in the pre-merge.
Yeah, I agree with that. Your thoughts on NECA?
I agree, but if NECA can just survive pre-merge, if she can get out Noelle, and if she can hopefully get out Dwight and just go in strong with Jesse and Cody, I think NECA's set. Her social game is great.
I agree. Her social game did seem very good this episode. Like I said, the edit, we didn't get a lot of her perspective, in my opinion, in confessionals, but when we saw her playing the game, her social game was good.
She really like finessed those beats.
Yeah.
Yo, big props for that. Yes, she did. She was the hustler in that equation. Like she put in the work. Those beads are from her.
Yeah, I agree.
I should have ranked her higher. I wasn't even thinking about that when I did my rankings. That was cold-blooded. Good job, NECA.
And we saw her duo with Cody being strong here. So, I mean, and Cody's going to have a power. It's just how Cody's going to play, we'll see. But what were we going to say, Vanguard?
Got a bad feeling about him. I think he goes before she does.
So you think Mike's analysis of the bigger target going home might actually be wrong?
I just think Cody's going to go before NECA.
I ranked Cody higher than NECA, but only by 1 spot, which is pretty nominal in my opinion. But like, I hope you're right. I hope Cody goes before NECA, because I want to see people. If you're scared by someone, stop pinging their allies. Go for them. Have some guts. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. But yeah.
We'll move on to number 5, which is James. We once again didn't see a lot of that tribe, but he stays pretty high in our rankings, lower than last week, but James at number 5.
Yeah, you guys are higher on my guy than I am, like every week here so far. You know, I think I could see him on the blue tribe winning as well. I'm not sold on Lindsay. I'm not sold on Carla. I think Carla's our narrator, but I don't think she's winning. Definitely not sold on Cassidy, but I could see either James or Ryan from the blue tribe winning this game. And I would love it to be James. I would, especially if he drops the chess metaphors. But he seems to have a good instinct and a good, like, he didn't jump out, and it's the same thing from last week because we didn't see anything new from him. But like, he didn't jump out and go, I refuse to be number 4 in this alliance. Like, no, he understands like how the game is played from that aspect. So props to him.
I really like James. I really do. And to speak about James, this also explains why I personally voted the rest of that alliance so strong, because I voted Cassidy, as you saw, really high, Lindsay high. I think the Blue Girls plus James is the strongest foursome in the game right now, which in a merge situation, if they bring all of them in, that is the biggest number on the biggest tribe. And because I do believe that those 4 are closer than any other 4 on any tribe in the game. And so for me, I ranked them all high for that reason. And I like James a lot. I think he put himself in a good spot, and I think he makes the merge pretty easily, unless they just lose like 3 in a row.
Sounds like the cleaners queue. Do you think that is a strong 4 going into a merge type situation?
Well, I really liked what Fan Guy said until you made it about the cleaners.
Well, it sounded similar.
I really like James, and I think James has the luxury of being underestimated. Like, no one even knows that he's a chess player, right? That's just some secret intel that we have. So as far as they're concerned, he's just some average Joe Schmo from Philly that's just happy to be on the show. And I think that that's really going to work to his advantage if and when the Girls Alliance does decide to cut him. I think that he will already have some other alliances in the making because he's 4 steps ahead of them. So, again, you heard it here. If I'm never back on this podcast, the winner is on the blue team.
Honestly, you're making a good point there, because all what Fan Guy said I agree with. I feel like James is another one that has that look in his eyes, Fan Guy. I feel like James is going to be a savage player. I think this tribe is just savage, which could be bad if they ever lose a challenge, but if they don't, then it could be good or bad in the merge, I guess. But yeah, I think James has
Gio's almost certainly the next person off that tribe. If they ever lose, I'm almost 100% sure it's going to be Gio that goes.
Yeah. Unless they eat each other fast because they're too savage.
They're a bunch of killers on that team. They are.
Yeah. All right, number 4 is Ellie.
So someone ranked her higher than I ranked her, despite her being my number 1 pick overall.
It's Fan Guy. It's Fan Guy's number 1 pick.
Considering that we see people like, she's in the forest, like, tee, I'm so smart and the guys are so dumb, I'm running this tribe. And then back at camp, the guys are like, yeah, we need to like get a girl out next. I don't know. It doesn't bode well for Ellie. Although, like, yeah, she's still gonna end up being like this villainous presence, quote unquote, where they're just gonna play her up as this big strategist threat, and then she's gonna make it to like 7th place and then get voted out.
That's kind of what I see too.
I ranked her smack dab in the middle at 5. Is where I ranked Ellie.
I did rank her this week, but I ranked her 10th. I just couldn't rank anybody else I ranked below her because I didn't have so much to go on, you know. But I still don't like her, and I know you don't either. So what are your thoughts on Ellie?
I can't stand Ellie. I think calling her a villainess is the perfect way of saying it. And going to Mike's point about how everyone always wants to go after the weaker ally, if the guys do unite, unfortunately, I think that Janine will be the one that bites the bullet over Ellie, which infuriates me even more. But I think that Ellie has actually cultivated enough of the important relationships. Like, she kind of has something with Owen, something with Gabler, their fake metal connection, that she'll probably survive any target if the guys do decide to go after the girls, unfortunately. So
I need to hear her talk more about these metal bands, because I feel like she's one of these people that just wears fucking Slayer shirts or, you know, all Metallica, but they don't know anything about the actual bands.
Or the one that's even worse than that. Like the ones that wear like the bands that are like even way lesser known. And like if you're sporting a shirt like that and somebody comes up to you and is like, what's your favorite song? And you can't name a song by that. Like, you suck. Like, you just suck. Like, come on. And I get that from her too. I did not rank her number 1 because I like her. I ranked her number 1 because there's something about her edit that tells me she's gonna win this game. And I just that's who I think is gonna win the game. I don't know why. It's just the way they're presenting her. I just feel like she's gonna win.
Literally my preseason winner pick. And like when I hear she's gonna win this game, I'm like, please no. I don't wanna. I don't like her. I don't, and it's not because of the reasons that like Survivor thinks people wouldn't like her. No, I just like she's like all the worst parts of like her archetype with none of the, like, in my opinion, redeeming qualities. And that wasn't what I was hoping for, but that's what I'm getting.
Well, she has something just before we move on. I feel like they're trying to give her kind of like a Parvati type of, not edit per se, but like that's the archetype that she falls within, but she's way less attractive and way less likable.
True. I will say, I said this last week and I'll say it again. My problem with Ali's edit fan guy is a woman getting this much screen time going to be a winner for Survivor? I'm not convinced of that because we haven't seen that the last 2 seasons, and they don't like to edit women as a big force within the edits, I think. So I don't know about that.
I mean, I think you're right, but I also think that like if they were going to decide to do that, they might overcompensate the first time they tried it.
Maybe.
And this is what we would get. It's just way too much from one person that, you know.
Well, we will move on to somebody whose big edit I do enjoy, and that is Cody. That guy still doesn't like him, I guess. But Mike Aspen ain't here to talk up her boy, her pick, so I will do it. I love Cody. I think he's a great character on the show, and I think this week he showed he has the willingness to be a great ally. I don't know if he'll stay that way because he's a salesperson, but I think he has a lot of strengths that we can't discount, and he got his way with the vote, so he's doing something right.
Yeah, no, and I feel like if you went to his tribe mates at this point in the game and you said, Cody lied about his job, what's his real job? I feel like salespersons, they're like 50th guess. Yeah. I feel like they're going to guess like 50 other things first. I don't know. He doesn't scream salesperson. He stole them on getting his target Justine out. He has an idol hat now, which he can wear to every tribal council, which is pretty cool. The only thing is he had to enlist the help of Jesse and NECA to get it. So that idol will become public knowledge by the merge.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's how Survivor works very quickly, and he will have to probably play it early merge. Unless Jesse and NECA actually are the first people to keep a secret in the history of Survivor. But I don't know. I'm not like on the Cody train, but I've come around a lot from like my viscerally negative reaction to his preseason press. He's all right. He's funny. He's got his moments. I think there was too much of him this episode, but he was an integral part of getting the beads and advantage and stuff. If I'm seeing 8 confessionals from Cody every episode, I don't know what the actual count is, but if I'm seeing this every episode, I'm gonna get sick of him really quick. So let's hope that if Red wins, we don't see this much Cody.
What did you want to say?
I actually, there's that blind. I actually was wondering if it was clear that Cody had an advantage. I thought he played it up as, oh, I lost my vote, and if I don't get all of these beats, like basically he took a chance to try and get an advantage, but it ended up being like a, I didn't know that the advantage part was actually made clear, or is that just how?
Well, that's because they've seen the Beware advantages the last 2 seasons.
Okay, so they know for a fact that there is an advantage tied to him collecting all of the beads.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's no way that they haven't. If they haven't reasoned that out, then like, bro, Jesse and NECA are missing some killer instincts they need for the game of Survivor. Like that's a pretty easy conclusion to draw. Collecting beads to combine into something. What could that be? Like they have no, it's an idol. Nothing else makes sense.
Okay. I
think they're going to turn on him. I do. This is why I ranked him so much lower. I think NECA's going to turn on him and go with I think Noel's going to be the first one to go. And then I think if that tribe's still together, they're going to turn on him, especially if they know he has this power. That's even a better reason to turn on someone. So I just think he might even go before Noel. I think he's in more danger than you think on that tribe. I just feel it.
Cody said early in this episode he struggled reading growing up. Do you think he actually read the word beware right, and that's why he was so gung-ho about opening this? Because why would he not just wait a day? Wait till after tribal to open the beware advantage? Or is this just his living tattooed on his ass style?
Bro, just bury it, bro.
Are
just
you really saying
it,
that he couldn't understand the word beware? I don't think they rushed him to open it. Like, I feel like he had 30 seconds. Like, I feel like even It's one word. There's no way he should. I mean, I don't know, man.
I mean, it was a joke. But he could have said, maybe he thought it was be here, and he had to open it right then and there or something. I don't know. But he said he struggles with it.
I feel like we got to dock him for that. Like, you're not going to, like, dock him points for picking up a Beware advantage when your vote is crucial.
Not this week. I like him too much, but maybe next week. Number 2 is Carla. Once again, not a lot to go off of, but Vanga, I think somebody ranked her high.
I do it too.
Yeah.
She's, to me, the leader of the Blue Alliance, which I think is the strongest alliance. Therefore, I put her the highest spot of that alliance, which I'll rank them all high. So I just, I like what I see from her edits. She seems likable. I think her social game is going to be good. And I think she's part of a very strong unit that seem to be together. So at this point, I have no reason to rank anyone else higher than her,
Is she the leader of that alliance? Or is she riding the middle and just the narrator of the tribe? Like, I don't know. And she's already had that paranoia streak in episode 1. I probably ranked her the lowest of anybody. I ranked her 8th. I ranked quite a few people in the Blue Tribe higher than her. I think she's our narrator, as I've said. But I don't think she is. I don't think she's going to get voted out necessarily here, but I don't think she's a winner. I don't think she's a winner material. Like, I don't see that. I don't see that instinct. I see the paranoia. In the very first episode, the seeds being planted. We all know how I feel about paranoia. So, yeah.
Patty might disagree. Patty said, a healthy dose of paranoia will get you far. So, do you think this could be one of the winners from the tribe you suspect?
No. I think that Gio and Carla are at the bottom of this tribe, and I don't think Carla's leading the alliance at all. I feel like Lindsay, that's why she has the eye of the tiger, as you guys keep saying. I feel like Lindsay's leading that alliance, and I feel like actually within the girls' alliance, I actually think Lindsay and James are leading it personally. But I agree. I think Carla is very paranoid. And I think that if she were truly leading the alliance and felt secure in it, she wouldn't be sketched out by Gio and Ryan growing closer, because she would know that she had other people to fall back on. So I think Carla knows her position within the tribe, not to mention the fact that she did sit out in the challenge. And so, God forbid, any talks about strengthening the tribe comes up, she's probably not in a good spot. So.
But to circle back to Patty's point, actually, I will circle back to Patty's point. I do feel like the dose of paranoia makes you want to. I mean, you could spiral and do too much, but I think it also can make you make the big move that gets you further in the game as well. And I can see her doing that, honestly.
The first vote of a tribe is not the time to be making a big move.
But if she survives this vote and does it later down the line. But she might have to make the big move if she gets herself in a mess.
Yeah, but you know what keeps you out of messes? Not being overly paranoid. There's a difference between realistically understanding your position and paranoia. And I felt paranoia, not realistically understanding your position and the limitations therein.
I agree with that too. Well, number 1 was Jesse again. This time, however, 2 of us did rank him number 1. Unlike last week, nobody ranked him number 1. But this week, I do think like he had the little mastermind type of edit. So I don't see him. I honestly don't think he's going to win this game, but I see him being that on this tribe. He's kind of like the kingpin. Everybody goes to him right now.
He's Omar and he's Ricard.
Mm-hmm.
That's who he is.
Mm-hmm.
And also, he's more boring than both of them.
Yeah.
He is
because this is the equate cast of the last 2 seasons.
If you remove GameBot confessionals from him, what does he do? What does he say? You can be interesting and entertaining without sob stories, and you can also not be a game bot. And he's literally just a game bot. Like,
but I feel like he has a better social game than the 2 players you mentioned before.
Yes.
Although
Survivor,
Omar did too.
Survivor can't show a good social game though. Like, it's not a good TV product, as you know. It's hard to show a good social game.
But we have to deduce the fact that everybody's coming to him, so he has to have a pretty good social game.
No, he has a good social game, but like, The problem is this doesn't necessarily make a compelling story, and everyone knows his true past. There's no way to let him touch the end. So he's I don't know, man. Boring. He's boring. I was bored by him this week. I wasn't entertained when he was on my screen. Every entertainment on the Red Tribe came from Cody. So.
Any other thoughts on Jesse? He had a good episode.
I mean, I ranked him 1 because who's got a better winner edit right now than Jesse? Because it's
True.
GameBot edit and Survivor. I don't know, man. Survivor.
Do you have any thoughts on Jesse?
I had him in my top 5. I mean, I think he's good. But what's weird about it is, like, we were talking about the killer instinct. You know, this guy might have actually killed someone, but I still don't see it in his eye. I still don't see it in his eye. Like, he doesn't just, you know, he doesn't look, you know, he doesn't have that look. I don't see it from him. But I do think he has a good edit, and I think he's playing well.
Like Jesse's street smart. I think he has enough sense to know that Noelle and Dwight, he might turn on Dwight before Noelle and Dwight get the chance to number up and turn on him. So I think he has enough sense to know that right now NECA and Cody are his best chances on the red team. So I like Jesse. I like that he's boring. He's had an eventful life. Let him relax these next few years.
Any final thoughts on the episode overall? Okay. Well, then I guess that does it for us this week. Do you have any final thoughts since you're joining us guesting?
Called it here, said it several times. I think the winner's on the blue team. I am rooting for this Lindsay, James, Ryan story, and I want to see what they do. That's how I feel about it. With NECA as a close follow-up.
Hopefully.
Yes, Viola Davis, because she looks just like her.
All right. Well, until next time, that does it for us this week.